In the headlines tonight,
so is that determined by an instruction from the executive?
Kosase members of parliament fault UNRA boss Alan Kagina for violating the PPDA Acts.
That we want to study the budget properly before it is presented in the House.
Speaker of Parliament Anita Among warns Ministry of Finance to stop stampeding Parliament.
It must be the citizens themselves who change their own society.
President of the Alliance for National Transformation, Major General Mugisha Muntu, says the youth are failing to shape the future of Uganda because they lack values and character.
It's about qualification, but just to cement it, to take the championship.
And in sports, Hippos play South Sudan tomorrow in the finals of the CECAFA Under-20 zonal qualifiers. A very good evening to you and welcome to CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. We start off from the August House, where the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, has warned the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development officials to desist from delaying to table budget framework papers. She says Parliament has started suspecting that the officials deliberately delay to table the framework papers to ensure that the members of Parliament fail to scrutinize and adopt them effectively. Take a look. In her communication to MP, Speaker Anita Among asked Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development officials to submit their budget framework paper before December 15, 2022 to allow MPs scrutinize the budget framework in time.
I therefore urge the Minister of Finance to ensure that the National Budget Framework paper is tabled in the House by 15th, so that we don't go for recess, come back just to receive the Budget Framework paper, then go back for recess. I want to give a warning this time round. We are not going to receive the budget on the final day, like in the last budget, in the last financial year. We will not do that. We want to study the budget properly before it is presented in the House.
Among says, when the budget framework paper is delayed, Ministry of Finance officials use the loophole to extract wrong figures, which are differently from those appropriated by Parliament, before being shared with different government institutions.
The timely tabling of this is really a very good thing for both of us. It will allow us to study the budget framework paper early. It will also allow us to go for recess and have our recess, other than cutting the recess in the middle. You come back and then go, which tends to be a little costly for the institution and for yourself. There is a tendency of Ministry of Finance extracting wrong figures and sending them to institutions different from what Parliament appropriated. So we must study this budget before we approve.
Solomon Sirwanyi, a Parliament Commissioner, says it's now a policy of the Ministry of Finance officials to always delay submitting the budget framework paper.
It was not only the last financial year or the last budgeting cycle. It has become a tendency that the Minister of Finance will come in the dying minute. This is almost the 5th time that I have been here in Parliament, and this is happening, Right Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, this time round, I would seek your indulgence to ask the Minister early enough to come to the floor of Parliament and commit themselves that they are going to deliver this very early, so that we could scrutinize the budget, get the clear priorities of the country as Parliament of Uganda.
However, the State Minister for Privatization, Evelyn Anite, assured Parliament that the next budget framework paper will be submitted before December 15, 2022.
Speaker, we are law-abiding citizens and very committed to our job. I therefore would like to commit on behalf of Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development that we will indeed lay the budget framework paper before the 15th of December.
Sarah Nakandi for CTV PM Edition.
An update report.
The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has launched an upgraded national parameter that will help government to focus on key areas for proper planning and better results. This comes after findings that most government projects are not cost-effective because they're set up without prior research and assessment.
Every year, government through the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development comes up with a proposed national budget that could run any financial year. The sources of money to fund the budget are stipulated in the proposed budget. However, sometimes government invests in public facilities like roads, hospitals, schools, among others, without proper research and consultations, leading to wastage and corruption. This is one of the reasons why the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic has launched a new strategy known as the upgraded national parameters and commodity-specific conversion factors for Uganda to focus on priorities.
What we call national parameters for Uganda will enable the government to implement good projects. And what do we mean by good projects? Those projects that have maximum returns that the economy.
According to Asaba, the ministry will start carrying out physical studies before releasing funds for any given project in any region of Uganda.
This is intended to eliminate all the inefficiencies we've been facing by implementing projects that we have not studied to know their implications on the welfare and service delivery of Ugandans. So for me, this is historic because in the region, at least we have uniform prices. They are uniform in a way that a project in health uses the same unit prices like a project in roads.
In the process, government will use its institutions to follow up the selected priorities. Currently, Uganda's debt is about 80 trillion shillings, which, according to commentators, is alarming. This new strategy, according to Raban Bulamuko, a commissioner in the Finance Ministry, will help government to minimize losses while implementing various projects.
No project that has not undergone a study will enter the public investment plan. What does the study help us? If the study helps us to show the economic viability of that project, it shows us the returns. The returns, when we invest $200 million in a road, these are the returns.
Story combined by Chris Semakula, CTV, PM Edition.
Uganda National Roads Authority officials have been faulted by members of parliament on the Committee of Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises for violating the public procurement and disposal of public assets by honoring the presidential directive on the single procurement of contractors. Now, this arose after the executive director of UNRA, Alan Kagina, failed to justify why they don't question directives by the head of state.
One of the documents
During today's interaction between COSASI and officials from the Uganda National Roads Authority, the committee found out that most URA projects are awarded basing on presidential directives. MPs found out that individuals and companies that are contracted by UNRA are seconded by President Museveni.
Honorable, this is the schedule of employee costs where we moved money from employee costs to pay projects.
But you might find somebody who has better experience, who will do an even better job at a lower cost, who has not been given chance to participate, to bid, so that you then maybe end up going with this other person. So you're now dealing with one person. So like you're saying, when you get these letters, you choose to go the direct way. So is that determined by an instruction from the executive?
According to the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Act, for any government agency or ministry to hire a contractor on a specific project, there should be an advert to source for competent contractors. Single sourcing, according to the Act, can be done in case of an emergency or failure to identify a competent contractor.
Procuring and disposing entity shall not enter into a contract until the accounting officer confirms in writing that the required funds have been committed for the proposed contract.
The only exception you can talk about direct procurement would be in emergency situation, and the procedure is very elaborate within the law.
According to Kajina, President Museveni has a mandate to give directives to institutions like UNRWA, and such directives can't be questioned.
Under the Constitution, the President has executive powers. We also have cabinet extract that says all public servants must implement presidential directives. And finally, they are cleared by the Attorney General. So that's the basis on which we process these presidential directives. Because we don't advertise where it is a presidential directive, we invite. And because these are not too many, so that there isn't a lot of money to be expected from those directives.
After Kajina's shocking revelation, MPs on the committee proposed to meet the president, which idea was rejected by COSASI chairperson Joel Senyonyi. Senyonyi says the law can't be abused just to serve the president. The committee is still scrutinizing the Auditor General's findings on UNRWA operations. Sarah Nakandi, CTV, PM Edition.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah Nakandi. A new partnership to promote trade and investment. We bring you this story and more after the break.
Do you love me?
Very much.
I'll catch you one day. Pants down.
I want to spoil you. I want you to eat my money.
She believes I'm in love with her guy. Nico? If I had to live everywhere I'm not loved, where would I end up? The dirty guy hides in the hospital for 40 years, but at night, he walks the streets, commits crimes, and then he comes back and pretends to be my life again.
I will break you, Spooky.
Do not answer any question about Roho kwa Roho. Use your brain!
Now showing on CTV. Don't blink.
It's it in the air. Will that be set?
He's done it! What a magnificent performance!
Recharge your day with Sting. Extreme energy, refreshing taste, available countrywide. Sting, live switched on, from the makers of Pepsi.
CTV is now on StarTimes. You can now catch all your favorite programs, our daily comprehensive news bulletins, and so much more on StarTimes channel number 248. Stay tuned for a world of endless possibilities. CTV. Don't blink.
Welcome back to CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. Moving on, it's been almost 2 years since the 2021 general elections. Political parties are crisscrossing the country, opening branch offices and mobilizing more support ahead of the future elections. Major General Mugisha Muntu, the leader of the Alliance for National Transformation, is in Nkole region meeting various party mobilizers. Take a look.
Major General Mugisha Muntu, the former army commander who is the president for the Alliance for National Transformation, has camped in Barara in Nkole region to mobilize support. He met student groups at Makerere University Business School Barara campus. He told students that most young people cannot get employed because they lack values and character. He says they have a get-rich attitude which forces them to engage in corruption at their places of work, which in the end gets them into trouble.
We must ensure that we do things by the book. Are we together? Who changes society? It must be the citizens themselves who change their own society. Most times people are looking for one human being to come into a position and then change things. How will one human being come and change things? Culture is changed through participation of a significant number of nationals in that country who say we are tired of this kind of culture, we want a new culture.
According to General Muntu, the youth have to be at the forefront of fighting corruption, which practice has killed Uganda's development potential. He says the few available jobs outside government are being occupied by foreigners who are transparent and hardworking.
Many Ugandans are searching for people from outside come and manage their business.
And that's why you hear many Kenyans are coming to manage because of character, the work ethics, the attitude towards work.
Professor Richard Kasimire says the rate at which the youth consume alcohol and participate in empty entertainment activities saddens him.
Let me now get to you as a person at your age. What have you done that you think can change our society?
General Muntu and his team say they will visit various institutions of higher learning.
In the business world, Uganda has partnered with Vietnam to promote trade and investment with the hope of creating and expanding business opportunities that will boost the country's economy. Uganda will use the arrangement to market her products in Vietnam and Asia. The details.
As Uganda grapples with a struggling economy, with inflation hitting a record high of 10.7%, there are some efforts to rejuvenate it. The Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Chris Badiomonsi, says they are getting more trade partners across the world to revamp the economy through trade partnerships. He was at Uganda Media Center in Kampala, where he announced the Uganda Business Summit.
We have put in place to enable the government and the people of Uganda interact with the government and people of Vietnam in order to explore opportunities which are available for us as we handle the issue of the economy, which he said.
This summit is intended to market Ugandan products and to accelerate trade and investment between the two countries. Harriet Ntabazi, the State Minister for Investments, says the summit is timely because Ugandan products are unique and easy to market globally.
I want to assure Ugandans, we have joined this move together with these companies. The private sector foundation is fully on board.
She says products like fish and milk and tea can fetch the country money and in turn create employment opportunities for Ugandans.
At least for the key products, coffee, tea, and milk products, and other products, fish, those ones that can be transported and reach. Please, let's showcase and we really attract more investment.
Small and medium enterprises have been urged to take part in the summit to create business opportunities in Vietnam.
You are looking at Vietnam economy, you are talking about billions of dollars. That's why I have been trying to work with the government here so that we can go there and have an experience.
The summit is slated to take place from the 23rd of November to the 26th of November in Hanoi, Vietnam. Hope Nyongereza, CTV PM edition.
In our regional news, Thousands of public servants began a one-day strike in South Africa on Thursday over wage demands, professional organizations said. The work stoppage is being led by one of South Africa's largest public service unions, the Public Servants Association, which has some 235,000 members. The dispute over public servant salaries flared up after Labour Minister Thulas Nkesi announced last week that he would increase salaries by 3%, while the unions were demanding 6.5%. Picket lines were observed during the day around central government offices in Pretoria by strikers in the health, immigration and police sectors. South Africa's economy has already been hit hard by several weeks of strikes in the railways and port services, which have affected mineral and fresh fruit exports. Moving on. In Kenya, Kenya's parliament has approved the deployment of nearly 1,000 troops for a new regional force in eastern Congo amid questions about the $37 million cost for the first 6 months of the mission. A parliament committee report says the money that will be spent on equipment, allowances and operations for the more than 900 troops joining the East African Community Regional Force that will support Congolese forces against armed groups. Opposition lawmakers questioned why Kenya is spending so much money on the regional mission while the country faces its own security issues. Kenya also faces rising inflation and high public debt. Kenyan President William Ruto last week called the mission necessary and urgent for regional security. The Kenyan forces will be based in Goma, in eastern Congo's largest city. On the international scene, Russia says it is withdrawing its military from Kherson, the only regional capital it has captured since the invasion began. It's a significant blow for Russia and means that its forces will pull out entirely from the western bank of the Dnipro River. Moscow's commander in Ukraine said it wasn't possible to continue supplying the southern city. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says his country is moving very carefully in response to the announcement. U.S. President Joe Biden said the decision to withdraw from Kherson shows Russia's military has some real problems. The U.S. estimates that around 100,000 Russians and 100,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed or injured since the war began. PM Edition returns shortly with more news from the world of sports. Uganda's under-20 men's national football team, the Hippos, will play South Sudan tomorrow in the finals of the CECAFA under-20 zonal qualifiers. The Uganda Hippos want to defend their crown at the Al Hilal Stadium in Sudan. The two teams qualified for next year's under-20 AFCON Games in Egypt. Uganda Hippos head coach Jackson Mayanja and left back Ibrahim Juma explained the crucial encounter tomorrow.
People come with that mentality that it's a young nation. It's not a young nation, it's young by nature in terms of football, but the players who are playing in the team are not the same as the name said South Sudan. There are players from Uganda who know Ugandan players from Kenya, players from Burundi who have a bit of experience in their Premier League. So it's not an easy as an encounter as people think about. And that's why they have been dominating some years back against Uganda, against these East African countries. First of all, the tournament, as I've been telling you, this tournament is about qualification. It's nothing much. It is about qualification, but just to cement it, to take the championship. But it was, the final was previously. So right now, it's about to win it and seal it for respect, for prestige of Uganda, fans and football at large as a country.
First of all, I want to thank God, and the tournament was good. It was hard in the first day, but the boys they were good in training and off the training. And the coaches, we are ready as usual. We are ready. We are here to compete and to take the trophy back home. Nothing much.
من المخالفة اللي ارتكبت.
We have come to the end of tonight's edition. Thank you for staying tuned in and thank you for keeping it CTV. Catch us here same time, same place. From the entire team, we wish you a good night and be blessed.